Starting it up. And here we go. We got the Cuban Creed versus the Moonhams. Wait, Cuban Creed is Sucker Punched versus Moonhams. And yes, I know it's Moonham, but he's Moonhams.
It's an improvement.
It's better than team name number 6.
True.
Debatable.
But here we go.
Leads. Mammoth coming out to the Amoongus.
You don't have to talk about me like that.
We have a famous CTO on one of these teams, the Mammo Swine. But this matchup here, actually, they both could fight each other pretty well, so nice swap to this weekend.
Yeah, not wanting to risk the ice into it. Very understandable. Going to see some Scalds coming out. No burnt proc into the Rotom.
Back to the Amoongus.
Yeah, Amoongus is a great swap in there. It's able to kind of absorb either and regenerate her through. See what Moonham has planned for it if he tries to threaten it out and try and break it. And he does.
Yeah.
Going into the big hoops.
So the sleep, there's a chance for that play here. Hoopa does some pretty big damage, so maybe he'll try to set up here with Nasty Plot, thinking that the Amoongus might switch back out.
Could go for that, or could just be a raw breaker with a choice item able to attack with the psychic typing into the poison here.
And I think that Mooneyhams really wants to kill this Amoongus, just looking at his team between Rotom, Manectric, who can carry Flamethrower, but also Celesteela. Amoongus is pretty good against those Pokemon.
Yeah, and if we're expecting the Psychic, yeah, the Tyranitar comes out to set up the Sandstream. Zen Headbutt immune with the Dark typing. We will see if it's choice now.
And notably going physical there. So probably won't see the Nasty Plot build.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a call on the choice and Jordan tries to go straight into the Excadrill, or if he just goes with a Pursuit, depending on the Tyranitar's moveset, to push damage onto the Hoopa. These Mon haven't necessarily determined that it's choice yet.
Yeah, I gotta say, if it were me, I think I'm going to either Celesteela or Rotom here if I'm in Mooneyham's shoes.
Yeah, Celesteela is going to be able to sit in that Sandstorm really well. Notably, Jordan's got his Thunderous with them. He's left that out of his last couple matches.
One call out
like
though,
the-
if I remember right, Hoopa is potentially able to learn Superpower, which can absolutely one-shot Tyranitar. So we do see the swap though.
Yeah, kind of fine with this matchup. Could attack with the Fire Fang. There we see it. The natural defense going up, a Leech Seed going to set up and really mitigate a lot of that damage.
Yeah, Celesteela is not one to make a lot of contact outside of maybe Heavy Slam. And Garchomp's a large Pokemon, so yeah, there's the swap to Thundurus. Ooh, it crits, which is really bad for Jordan there. You don't want your Thundurus at half health.
The Sandstorm working against him there, but we do see a taunt into the Celesteela. The Protect will defend that.
And if you're Mooneyhams, I think you're fine pressing Flamethrower again with Thundurus at 57% or 51%.
Back into the Tyranitar, but Moonham's team actually works pretty well with his steel and his ground able to exist in the Sandstorm.
We might see like an Ice Shard here, maybe another Icicle Crash. But the physical Pokemon into Tyranitar is usually pretty good, so
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised for an Earthquake too to attack that ground or the rock typing with that big ground stab.
oh yeah, yeah,
If the
Earthquake would
Thundurus
be great.
comes back in, then the Thundurus is going to take chip from the Sandstorm, and kind of anything to break that Thundurus really sets off the Celesteela. Both of these players playing like they understand the importance of that.
One of the things though that yeah, and goes to the Suicune. One of the things though that Thundurus usually has is hidden power, so I think Mooneyham needs to keep an eye out for that. You know, if there's a weird swap in where you're like, why would he swap Thundurus into this? Probably hidden
Ooh,
power.
and there we see a good burn proc off the Scald onto the Celesteela, gonna kind of negate the leftovers, as well as if it's running any physical coverage for its steel move
So do we see a Calm
and
Mind
getting that.
here from the Suicune? Try to get a little setup going on a swap?
Yeah, I imagine it's gonna be a Leech Seed, and you really don't want to swap your Amoonguss into that because of the flamethrower potential, and again the Sandstorm working against Jordan at this moment.
There's not a lot Celesteela can do though against Suicune, outside of just stall, so does go to Garchomp. Again, still no touching here for Celesteela, so he's not going to get Iron or the Rough Skin procs. And yeah, Garchomp is not going to do much here against the Celesteela.
Yeah, that crit on the Thunderous really making it hard to just bring it in. Gonna set up the Sandstorm again against the Rotom. While Hydro Pump is scary, you are a thick boy in the Sandstorm, and we do see him sit in and take it, going for the Pursuit, expecting the swap out.
Yeah, I like with the Mega T-Tar, I usually prefer Crunch for the higher base damage, but you know, with Rotom, it's Pursuit's pretty nice because he usually presses Volt Switch. Or Pursuit's not as good because he usually presses Volt Switch.
Yeah, it'd still catch heavy Volt switches as long as the Rotom's faster. You see that Hydro Pump crushing the Excadrill. A little bit of an impatient play, I would say, because there's only one turn left of the Sandstorm. Jordan just trying to break something to get a hole in the team, and there's going to be an Earthquake. But now the Sandstorm's gone and your Excadrill's at 2%.
I want to call out
Minus one
there,
going to come to threaten with the priority.
this Excadrill is Mold Breaker. Was able to
Yeah.
kill through Levitate there, so he's not running Sand Rush.
Oh, very interesting. Great catch.
And he goes for the save of the last bit of Excadrill. And I want to just call out that nobody has put out any sort of rocks or spikes, which is already showing here.
Oh, and here we see the Suicune going to start to try and set up, but into the Leech Seed.
Yeah, Suicune doesn't have a hardcore heal outside of what Aqua Ring, so it's a little bit tough, and it's hard to put that in your moveset just because it doesn't do anything.
The Ice Beam doing respectable damage to the Manectric. You gotta imagine it has hidden power ice for the Garchomp. A little difficult to try and ground it out here.
And the urge to go to Amoonguss here is also, you know, tough because Manectric typically carries Flamethrower.
Yeah, I'd really like to see the Tyranitar come back out here. The Moongus is going to take the risk, Intimidate going off.
And yeah, that's probably some sort of
Yeah,
ice.
calling for the Garchomp there.
I would agree that T-Tar is probably your best bet here. We'll force him out, but The other problem with T-Tar is just, yeah, there's pursuit. Very nice. Big damage. Excellent. And Mamoswine, that physical Pokemon coming back in to hit Tyranitar's weakness.
Yeah, this Mamoswine definitely a problem. Jordan does have the Pokemon advantage currently over Moonham, but a lot of Moonhams are in much better shape. Notably, what I really like about that rotation is that the Amoonguss will be able to heal all that up with the Regenerator. So he does still have some meat left. This Mamoswine, a big threat still. Really that, and if he can remove the Hoopy, honestly, a lot of these Mon threaten that Amoonguss fairly well.
Yeah, and I don't see any bug moves on the side of Sucker Punched, so that's Hoopa's big weakness.
And the lower this Tyranitar gets, the harder it's going to be for him to go to toe with really any of these Mon. I do feel like that's a potential out, is to just let the Tyranitar do its job and see if it can get another kill somewhere in here. Questions if the Mamoswine's the right one. Gonna go to the Suicune, but a good read and getting the knockoff to remove the leftovers. We did mention earlier that that's one of Suicune's big weak points is steady healing.
I do kind of wonder what that last move is on Mamoswine. Of course, I would hope it's Earthquake, but seeing the knockoff, seeing Icicle Crash, and refusing to actually press an Earthquake, he must be really afraid of Thunderous. But Earthquake looks really, really good against Jordan's team, so not sure why he's not pressing it there. And even if he goes to the Thunderous, like a hidden power is the only thing that's really threatening your Mamoswine there.
Oh, and I was gonna say I was expecting the Thunders to try and come in on some kind of revenge kill here. But coming straight out, the Thunderbolt's gonna take the protect. Mamoswine gonna come back out to ground out the Thunderbolt.
And here's where that
Yeah,
hidden
Ice Shard's
power,
a big threat here.
yeah, here's that hidden power, but we haven't seen Ice Shard and we haven't seen Earthquake. Ice Shard is usually an auto include for Mamoswine. Let's see if he has it. He does. It kills him. And that's a big takedown if he has Earthquake on this Mamoswine.
Yeah, with that Life Orb kind of chipping down the Mamoswine, I would have loved to have seen Suicune come out. I'm not sure if he would have survived it, but it's a better sack than that Thundurus. It's so important for being able to take out that Celesteela. And the Suicune's gonna come out now. He does survive the Ice Shard, so more of that chip damage coming through. And the Scald gonna finish it off. So big trade for both sides there. And a Signal Beam, there is a bug move, but the Berry gonna heal it up. Heal Bell gonna come out, remove Celesteela's burn. Moonham really valuing that Celesteela to be able to stall out the rest of Jordan's team.
I think you. It sucks to lose the Suicune when the bug move is, obviously good against Celebi and Hoopa. But I mean, I don't really know what a 3% Suicune does for you.
Yeah, it was faster, so I'm fine with just leaving it in and clicking it again against the Celebi. But I'm going to swap out to the Amoonguss, tank the Energy Ball very well.
Probably see a Psychic here. So we'll see if he can call that and swap to the T-Tar.
Yeah, and we haven't seen a Spore out of the Amoonguss. Obviously not what you want to do against the Celebi with its Grass typing. But I think that's the big play for the Amoonguss here, is if it can get a Spore off, but a Toxic coming out of it, so it may be a Poison, or the Celesteela's Steel typing, making it immune to that. Heavy Slam going to be able to push some damage, but it's a double status. It does get the sleep on the Celesteela. This could be the opening to be able to break this wall here.
We'll see a quick swap for sure. We'll just have to know if Moonham also swaps. Going to T-Tar, no, leaves the Celesteela out, which is pretty good against T-Tar. So Steel against Rock, Heavy Slam is really dangerous into T-Tar. So it's risky to go to T-Tar here, especially when the Steel is already big. Yeah, Brick Break, not great into the flying typing.
I was curious if it had superpower for the larger hit there.
Yep.
And there's the Wake Up and a Leech Seed coming out. The Celesteela just the wall.
Yeah, I don't know how he kills it here. I mean, maybe he has Stone Edge on this Garchomp or Stone Edge on the Excadrill, but like, I don't know what he's doing here. How he's going to get this thing down.
We've seen PP stalling. Not as a direct strategy, but as a result of walls being able to be unbroken. But what can stall out the Celesteela?
Nothing. I mean, well, he doesn't have a hard heal move outside of just regenerating a Mungus.
And these Leech Seeds are what really needs to get removed. A Stealth Rock finally coming out.
Wow. And you just wonder if that rock was there from the beginning. But back to the Garchomp, takes fire well. Again, he's gonna need something here. Maybe he has a Dragon Tail, finally something to get him out of there, but doesn't get rid of the problem. Just stalls for later. You don't want to see your Garchomp go down, so probably see some sort of swap back to the T-Tar and an immediate swap back to the Celesteela. Rocks, though, notably are good against Celesteela.
Yeah, I wouldn't
However,
be surprised if the Amoonguss also came in just to kind of pivot and see and scout. Potentially get another opening for a chance at a Spore. If it is a hard swap from Celebi to Celesteela.
right.
But yeah, not I wouldn't want to be spamming the Dragon Tails when seeded and just kind of swapping them out. And, yeah,
Yeah, you gotta pull this Garchomp out here. And it makes you wonder, do you just go for Excadrill here and Mold Break into the Celesteela with your 3% HP on the Excadrill?
that's definitely revenge kill possibilities. I would definitely like to have some Spore going on to set that up a little bit better. But we are going to see the Tyranitar hanging on at 1% from that Energy Ball. That Rock typing getting the special defense buff in the Sandstorm.
And notably, Tyranitar is a slow Pokemon, so yeah, gonna see the swap to a Mungus. Kind of a risky swap, but you don't have a choice here. Unless the Celebi just doesn't have the Psychic Stab and is just running a whole lot of Cleric moves. And
Yeah, definitely likely.
one other piece is that the Tyranitar did survive at 1 HP, so you do have one more Sandstorm application at minimum.
But without the knockoff support throughout the team, unable to remove the items, really, well, it's not the Celesteela is not even affected by the Sandstorm, but that bits of chip damage is just kind of punished by that. The Celebi did have a berry, so it is currently itemless.
Back to that. Takes a nice chunk on the rocks. The Toxic doesn't work. Will we see the Spore here again, and then maybe the quick swap to the Excadrill? I mean, I really think the Excadrill is your only real chance to kill this Celesteela. Like, I don't know how you kill it otherwise. I mean, The rock move is my only other thought, but I don't know who carries rock moves like that. So, no, does not press Spore. The Chomp gets leech seeded again, and now you're just gonna have to pull the Chomp. Like, yeah, Firefang is cool, but it's non-stab, and Celesteal is physical wall already, and the burn will just kill this thing. And with the seed, yeah, Chomp's gone. Now he's got to go to Excadrill. This is your reset to Mold Break, Earthquake into the Celesteal, but I don't even know if it kills at 81%. We'll see. It is one of the strongest stab Earthquakes in the game, so if anyone can do it, it's the X. But no, doesn't. He's going to try to secure the Spore first. Presses Protect. Here comes the Spore, and now he'll be on top of that and could swap to the stupid fairy or psychic grass thing, Celebi. What a tough game. That might have been your spot there to get the revenge kill, and I hope you didn't miss it. Now, you would have protected anyways, so that is one thing, but outside of that. Oh, and the flamethrower coming in. Pretty good take, honestly, by the Amoonguss at 59%. So he's going to swap back out. You have to go to your Excadrill here. Like, I know he can't hear
Yeah,
me, but like that's your chance.
I really think we're gonna have to see some rock slides and some flinches in order to kill the Celebi. Or some just brutal calls on swap ins.
Okay, here we go.
Here comes Excadrill.
All right, we are he stayed in. He stayed in, of course, because of the swap. Here we go. There's one more chance. Is he going to keep the Celesteela in? Is he going to swap it out? Let's see what he does. This is a really, really tough call here for Moonham. Obviously, knowing it's mold breaking, he should swap this thing out. This is going to be crazy. What does he do? Looking at your Pokemon there, you really don't want to put Hoop in because he's, pretty soft. Celebi's not
Honestly,
tanky.
I'm not too afraid of just leaving the Celesteela in for a turn and seeing what he choices himself into.
Well, don't you think that you don't want to lose your Celesteela? Like, I'm afraid
It's
of
not going to
Stab
do anything for
Earthquake.
the Celesteela.
Yeah, it seems unlikely, but I'm still afraid. Because remember, if you have to pull Celesteela out, you lose 12% to rocks coming back in. So that is one other thing to keep in mind.
Grizzle makes a good point. I don't think Mold Breaker works on flying type. It has to be an ability.
Might be true, might be true. I guess
That's
we'll
why I'm
see.
thinking we're going to have to see some rock slides out of the Excadrill. The problem is if he's calling this Celebi play, then he wants to go for something like an Iron Head potentially. He's
Ugh.
got the X Scissor calling the Celebi. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely a call for the Celebi.
Or Hoopa.
Could switch immediately back into the Amoonguss or the T-Tar to get the Sandstorm set up. Maybe try and get some value out of 1%. Yeah, straight back into the Amoonguss. The wake up does happen. There's a flamethrower. So gonna be an opening for a second flamethrower into the Amoonguss. Right back to sleep. Yeah, but setting up his own sandstorms, keeping him a little bit lower from it. He does have the Suicune and the T-Tar to essentially throw away for regenerator procs with their current health.
How do you do this? How do you kill
You gotta
Celesteela here?
you gotta bring in the Excadrill. You gotta go for the Rock Slide. He's gotta have that to attack the flying typing. But seeing the X Scissor, I think it was clearly set up to do other things. And it all really goes back to the importance of that Thunderous. Yeah, when you dedicate a Pokemon to be able to take care of a problem mon on the other team, you really need to have it dedicated to it. Gonna go back to the Tyranitar. He's expecting something out of here. Breaking it down, I'm not loving.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what else is there. And flamethrower doing good damage. The burn would be awful, but no knockoffs is just
Yeah, but
really
this is
hard.
where the Amoonguss is gonna go ahead and die here. He needed to swap to possibly the Suicune to buy himself a turn, or the T-Tar. That Sandstorm just not doing a lot. With these low health Mon, this is the only way Celesteela cannot heal up as much. It can't leech seed these things at their low health.
Yeah, this is gonna be really tough here for Sucker Punch. This is probably the end here. Two Pokemon, one at 3%, one at 2%. No items.
Uh, oh, and its own Sandstorm gonna take out the Suicune. Here comes the Excadrill in the Sandstorm.
Yep. Not
Earthquake
working there.
immune.
So probably does not have the Rock Slide. That'll do
I
it.
can't even do anything.
Big game there.